Hello, everyone. I hope I'm audible to you all. Hello, everyone. Good evening. I hope I'm audible to you all. Please give me a heads up if I'm audible to you. Just let me know once. All right, let's begin. Welcome to this live session of Ecoholics, where we are going to discuss our Indian Economic Services 2024 paper and that too the general economics paper 1. All right, so welcome to this live discussion. So I hope all my students who have appeared in the attempt of IES, they are here. I hope your exam went well. So now we will be beginning with our live session. I can see more people are joining eventually, so we will start in a minute. Okay, till then, if you have any experience to share from your IES paper 2024, you can share it with us all. And we will talk about that as well in the session. So, what all you can expect in today's session is today we will be decoding the paper. We will be talking about the questions, what kind of questions to all the people, to all the aspirants who are preparing for the attempt of 2025. This is going to be a great opportunity for you to understand how the exam paper looks like so that you can streamline your preparation accordingly. And to all those who have already attempted, we will be checking that which were the questions where the scope of making a mistake was the highest, which were the most difficult questions. So that's what we are going to learn in this session. So you will be learning a lot of loopholes basically in your answers, which even when you say that okay, I know any particular answer, but still you're not confident about that. So this session is going to help you with the same as well. So be here and you are going to learn a lot of key points, a lot of takeaways you're going to take with yourself, which are going to help you in your answer writing as well as your perspective in attempting the paper. So today with IES 2024 G1 paper, I will be teaching you how to attempt the paper, how to make use of your studies, the knowledge you have gained over the preparation time into while basically writing your answers. All right, I think let's start. So we will go section wise section. Meanwhile, if you have anything to ask, anything you have to, make a add on in this while this session is going on, you can do that in the chat box. I'm continuously looking at the chat box. So you can keep on interacting with me. Let's make this session quite interactive so that we both get to know a lot of fun things, a lot of things which are going to help all of us eventually. All right. That's the second. Okay. Okay. Now, The section A, we are going to first discuss about section A. So as we all know, section A is a compulsory section and you all have to attempt all of the questions through that. Just a second. Okay. Now, section A, if I talk about, section A is your compulsory section where you have to attempt all the seven, all the seven parts. सारे के सारे parts जो थे, you have to answer. Each part is of 5 marks. Each part is of 5 marks. So total 35 marks का section था. And to a surprise, section A for the first time has come out to be very easy. If you would ask me my analysis for the paper, I would say that the paper was quite conceptual. It was not very application based. It was very direct. It was something that if you have done your concepts well, you will be able to do the paper. It's just that you have to bring out your knowledge, your concepts here while you need to answer your questions. That's the paper for you. Okay, so let's see. Now 35 marks ke liye paper came. How can you make use of your time? That's the first thing, because this tends to be time consuming. Since this is the first section, students tend to waste a lot of time while writing too much things. But as you know that you need to be very concise while writing your answers, as there is a word limit of 100 words. So if we talk about, now let's see, if we talk about now the question number 1, that is part A. The question number 1, part A, was there was a demand function that was given, which is P is equivalent to 4 minus 0.5 q whole square. For what value of q will the price elasticity of demand be unity? So they have given you that your price elasticity of demand, price elasticity of demand is equivalent to 1. So you have to find out the value of q for which this is going to prevail. Now, this question was very simple. It was just less than 1 minute question. How? So we know what is the price elasticity formula over here of demand. That is change in your quantity with respect to price into price upon quantity. So you had all the values. Derivative you can find from this function. You had the value of your elasticity, that is over here 1, and P is nothing but it is equal to the function given here. If you solve it, you get the level of Q that is going to give you the price elasticity of demand. Even you can cross verify that after finding out the value of Q. So after the value you will get, you can put that back into this formula and can show it that yes, see, the elasticity is coming out to be equal to 1. So can you see it was that easy? I never expected कि section A can be too easy in a G1 paper. G1 का पूरा पेपर इस बार काफी ज्यादा स्कोरिंग लग रहा है. मतलब I don't know about you people that how was your experience, but if you will go through the entire paper, whether it's microeconomics, whether it's econometrics, or whether it is mathematical economics. मतलब mathematical economics में who would expect that a Leontief का question would come directly? In econometrics, when things come out of hand, like you need to prove a lot of things. They have asked you for direct concepts, comparing based questions, and then your the proof from simple linear regression models, interpretation of regression coefficients. I mean, looking at the portions asked for econometrics, it made me feel so happy for my students that they would have been able to attempt the entire paper of the portions of econometrics so easily, and that too also for microeconomics. So now coming to question number one. Now, coming to question number one, part B. Okay. So you can keep on asking in the chat box. Question number one, part B is that if a production function is homogeneous of degree 1 following CRS, obviously, show that the marginal productivity and average productivity functions are independent of absolute amount of the inputs but depend upon the input ratios. So, how easy it is. Like, you have to, the only task you have to do is you need to take a you need to take a production function of homogeneous degree 1. So you can take Q is equivalent to a Cobb Douglas, simple Cobb Douglas production function having CRS. So L raised to the power alpha, K raised to the power 1 minus alpha. Now you need to find out the values of MPL, MPK. Similarly, APL, APK. So when you will find these values out, you will see that they are not absolute functions of L or K. They are instead coming in the ratio of K and L. So simple. The first step which we study when we start studying the production functions. Coming to question number part C, peak load pricing. You had to explain. Peak load pricing. With reference to power sector, power sector is the perfect example for peak load pricing. So you had to use the example of power sector to explain the concept. The only thing which might trouble you while answering the questions from section A is that uh, you have so much to write, but since there is a limitation of sticking to the word limit, you might feel this thing that what to write, what not to write. At that time, your job is to identify the key points in your answer. Always remember that your introduction, body of the answer, and the conclusion part are very important. So do not write them above limit or below limit as well. So write appropriate introduction to keep yourself within the word limit. Write appropriate conclusion similarly to keep yourself within the limit. If you write too elaborated introduction, too elaborated conclusions, you are going to get out of the word limit. And this gives you lesser space for the body of the answer, whereas body of the answer plays much important role in such places. All right. Then coming to question number 1D, you had to distinguish between Ricardo and Kalecki theories of distribution. So you could have just gone with 4 to 5 points while distinguishing them. Brief में you had to distinguish between them. ऐसा नहीं था that you need to write long and long of paragraphs. No, you could have used paragraph format or the bullet point format to do this. So direct question again. E part is again Hicks-Calder compensation principle. You had to explain and the criticisms you had to tell. So these are so direct questions. Now, they go in the exam. I understand there is an exam pressure upon your head, maybe due to which many times you feel ki, Arey, I'm not able to do this. I'm not able to attempt this answer. Once you come back, all of the people who are here, I want from my audience, who all of you who have attempted the 2024 paper, tell me. We have now discussed about 5 questions till now. Tell me that when you were attempting 5 questions, how anxious you were feeling, how difficult they were seeming to you. Abhi to we are going to discuss the entire paper. We are going to crack the strategies to attempt the paper. So you will be learning more about it. You will yourself see that the question which was Scaring you in your exam is not anything which is very difficult and should make you anxious. Please tell me in the chat box. Okay. So again, direct question. Then a very, very, very good question from differentiation. Show that a production function, that is Q, is equivalent to log labor raised to the power beta 1, K raised to the power beta 2 is concave. You had to prove that it is concave where beta 1 and beta 2 are strictly positive. Do you remember? This is a basic formula you have to use. As when we talk about concavity, the second order derivative needs to be negative to prove concavity, right? As the second order derivative tells us about the curvature of the function. So you just had to find out the second derivative order derivative with respect to capital as well as with respect to labor. That was the task only. Again, less than 1 minute wala question. Right? Okay, not difficult section A. Good to know, Nayan. 8 was the answer to this. Okay. To which one you are saying, Nayan? Nayan Shinde it is. To which question are you telling the answer to? Now this was F. Ab F tak, these things were very easy. Now coming to part G. अब जैसे ही maximum students must have come to part G, they would have seen array. What is orthogonal factor model? ये तो पढ़ा ही नहीं था. I have not studied it. Yeah, maybe if I have studied it, oh shit, this is a very big model. These are the two things, because this question again is something which you all have done it if you have studied principal component analysis and factor analysis. It's just that a rephrasing of that. तो दो ही थॉट आते हैं, या तो पढ़ा नहीं था या पढ़ा था तो अरे तो इतना बड़ा है, व्हाट शुड आई राइट, मैंने आई लेफ्ट इट बिकॉज आई फेल्ट दिस इज नॉट गोइंग टू कम. These are the two thoughts. But do you know, when we talk about the part G, where you have to specify your orthogonal factor model, it's nothing. It's the matrix representation you have to do when you do factor analysis. That's all. And you have to mention the assumptions of the model. Now, of course, when we are working with the matrix models, we need to work with a lot of assumptions. Right? So it was again a straightforward question, but just by rephrasing, can you see UPSC has created a new term as well as something to scare students also, of course. But you don't have to get scared. Because if you will study conceptually, as I always tell when I'm teaching in classes, if you're studying conceptually, no one can beat you, no one can defeat you in your marks. Because when we study conceptually, we are gaining something naturally. It's not a temporary knowledge which we are acquiring. It's something which we are acquiring for ever of our lives. ठीक है, तो always focus on conceptual knowledge. So we have done section A. Now on to section B and section C, which are the most important sections of your paper. As we are going to interpret those questions, we are going to learn their solutions as well. We always say PYQ papers are very important. So anyone who is preparing here for 25 attempt, please listen to this advice, students. Start your preparation by doing PYQs. Do not leave PYQs for the last moment. Last moment के लिए कभी मत छोड़ो. No, always do them side by side. As soon as you're done with one module, take up your PYQs from that module. PYQs should be that thing which you're doing 2 to 3 times before your real examination. Okay, so yeah. Now coming to section B. Now coming to section B. In section B, question number 2, part A. So in a two commodity framework, what will be the shape of indifference curve? When one commodity is bad, that is the first part. Second is when one commodity is neutral. So again, very direct question. I know in good and bad commodity, because the second good will always be. Acha, in such question, assumption plays a very huge role. Assumptions के basis पे we always work with demand curves or your indifference curves. ठीक है? So always mention your assumptions explicitly. Okay, mention the assumption that the second good you're considering is a normal good. Okay. So if you are plotting your bad good here and a good normal good here, the ICs will be upward slope. Similarly, neutral, you can show this. The neutral, on which axis you are taking a neutral good and on which axis you are taking a normal good. And accordingly, you will get either horizontal or vertical ICs depending upon the axis you choose. So here in this question, it was a 8-marker question. Such easy question for 8 marks. Can you see how much privilege they have given to score well? So why have they given such an easy question for 8 marks? The reason is very simple. They have asked you directly, but they want to know what all information you will be sharing while writing your answer. So if you reread the statement, they are asking what will be the shape of the indifference curve. They have asked you shape. So सबसे पहले in your answer, you will talk about assumption you are taking in part 1, let's say. Okay, then don't start explaining a good and a bad. Don't start doing that. Then you draw the IC curve. But when you draw IC curve, do explain it, that why it is upward sloping. Do explain it. And then they have clearly mentioned that you need to explain your answer, which means 4 marks for this, 4 marks for this. So 100 words, say less, may try to wrap it up. Oh, okay, Nayan, no issues. These are the mistakes which we make, we forget to mention. The second question, part B. Second question, part B. State and prove the Slutsky's theorem. Derive the demand curve for a given good by using this theorem. So Slutsky theorem ki derivation, very basic, something which economic students learn in their graduation. That is the level. Derive the demand curve. But point is that even if these are easy, why are people not able to score well? The reason is very simple. The answer writing practice makes a huge difference. The temperament you build while writing the answers, while writing, prepping for your mock test, that is a gift you're giving to yourself for clearing the Indian Economic Services examination. Writing mock test is a prerequisite for clearing the examination. Okay. So then you had to derive the demand curve. यहाँ पे demand curve will also be derivated mathematically. कोई भी graphically करके ये नहीं कहेगा that कर दिया this is the demand curve for given good, नहीं. Mathematically you had to do it. तो ये सब, when I'm telling you these insights, I'm telling you the common mistakes that can be made. Many students must have done this in paper, that they have drawn demand curve for a given good and would have shown that yes, this is the demand curve. But you have to derive. Derive means mathematically, not even conceptually. So ये common mistakes का ध्यान रखना है. Then that is done. Now after that, question number 3rd A. I would just say one word for this. Very easy. Matlab, when I look at the paper, I'm feeling like every concept they have touched, they're asking you concepts because they want to see your conceptual knowledge. So next, the question was 3rd A. Write down the major characteristic of translog production function. You know translog production function, you write its features. In what ways is this production function different from Cobb-Douglas? The first thing that we teach in classes when we start with translog production function is this only, that how is it different from your Cobb-Douglas production function. So direct question, Jo, matlab, whatever you know about these functions, you have to just write them out. That's all. Then third B. Suppose that the production function of the firm is given by Q is equivalent to A, L raised to the power 1 by 3, K raised to the power 2 by 3. So you had to find out returns to scale of the production function. Up. If I talk about returns to this scale, returns to scale for this production function, then which part are you asking? Please tell me. If you talk about the returns to scale, how do you find returns to scale? You know well. How do you find returns to scale? कैसे find कर? You must have done. You must have taken a constant number, multiplied your factors of production, and then see that what is the power. But do you know in econometrics, I did this as example in my class for a Cobb-Douglas production function. That if you add the coefficients of labor and capital, that gives you returns to scale. So this is 3 by 3, this is 1. So that is a constant return to scale. That is a constant return to scale. Now, so easy. 8 marks में आया था, part B also. Very easy. Is production process labor intensive? How do you find labor intensive? कैसे find करो? You will find out output elasticity of labor as well as capital. And then you will see. For a labor intensive production function, output elasticity of labor should be greater than output elasticity of capital. Output elasticity basically means that when a change comes in labor, what amount of change, what percentage of change is going to come in the output. Okay, that's what it asks. Okay. Now, after that, the third part is for this function, third B का third part, labor and capital के prices दिए हैं, ₹20 and ₹100 respectively. And the firm has a total cost of ₹1,050. What will be the optimal combination? Now, when you read any answer, you need to find out the keyword. Here, the keyword is optimal. Optimal comes from optimization. Now your mind should go back to mathematical economics, differentiation, applications of differentiation. That what is, how do I find optimal? What do you need to do? You need to find out a combination of labor and capital such that you minimize your cost or you maximize your output. What will be the case if I ask you? Tell me, chalo, let's get in the chat box and tell me. In this case, what do you need to do? I repeat the statement. If the prices of labor and capital are 20 and 100 respectively, and the firm incurs total cost 1050, what will be the optimal combination of L and K? Jaldi se, I'm waiting for your replies. Okay, Nan. Quickly. Anyone? Okay. So whatever information is given, always understand. Information is given about constraint. ये चीज हमेशा याद रखना. That information is always given about constraint. So the information provided will become your constraint. And if your cost function is your constraint, it means you need to maximize your output. You need to maximize your output. So what will you be doing here? You will be maximizing output subject to your cost function. Right, maximize the output. Correct. What are you asking? How to find that? Amanpreet is asking me something. Tell me, what are you asking about? Maximize production. ठीक है चलो. Now on to the next question. Now on to the next question. Fourth question. Dual का question. Can you see? और उसमें भी they are not giving you numerical. I remember. I always tell a technique of converting something into dual. Like there are matrices form through which you convert a primal problem into dual. But I always teach a very easy way to convert that. Here, you are not even required to calculate numbers for a dual. You just have to convert things. Okay, Amanpreet, no worries. So, Amanpreet, we will be maximizing the output respect with subject to budget constraint, the cost function. And we will get it using the first order conditions, FOCs. Now, maximize, the primal problem was maximize profit, which is P dash X subject to AX less than B and X is greater than 0. Iska dual karna tha bas. That will be minimize. You can take Y also. You can take Y also, right? Correct? And then subject constraint. So that will be Y dash B subject to Y dash A, and this will be greater than the P dash. Okay? And Y is going to be also greater than 0. All right? So that is it. Uske baad you have to give in economic interpretation. Economic interpretation mein what do we do is we will be talking about this, that what is the minimization function is. We will be talking about the constraint. We will be talking about the non-negativity constraint. Then give a Lagrange multiplier interpretation to optimal values of dual choice variable. So you have to just basically talk about the Lagrange multiplier. That is when you optimize what does a Lagrange multiplier give and how does it provide the answer in the dual problem. Bada basic function. Coming to fourth ka B part, that is again a utility function and you have to derive the compensated demand function for Q1. Again, a very simple, very direct question again. And then the only part which will require little critical thinking is that show that this demand curve is always negatively sloped. Demand curve. But even when I say critical thinking, negatively sloped demand curve dikhane ke liye, what do you need to show? You need to just show the compensated demand function. Everyone knows how to find it out. You can use the method of Lagrange for that. Slope negative दिखाने के लिए you just need to show the derivative as the negative. If you will show the compensated demand function का derivative with respect to price, if you will show that derivative negative, you will be able to show the slope that will be negative. Okay, then question number 5A was a question from index numbers. There, they are just asking about Lespier's and Pache's price index, where you have to quote both of the index. You have to talk about the weightage that you give to both of the index and the merit and the demerit. Okay. Shaurya, so it's just that you have to write the dual in fourth A, then you have to interpret these, the objective function and the two constraints, and then talk about Lagrange multiplier. Okay. After that, we come to question number 5. As I said, question number 5, A was about price index, which I have discussed. So I'm taking a more critical questions over here. Okay, I'm taking more critical questions that need critical thinking. जो easy है, basic है, I'm telling you the blueprint for that. Question number 5 का B is, they have given a regression model, and in regression model, this is a regression model. I will write it for you. Be ready for answering few things if I ask you. Then this is 0.989 DW test statistic is 0.06. This is the result when you estimate a relationship between y and x. The figures in parenthesis show the standard errors. In your estimation, even R square is very high. The results are useless. Explain why this estimation is useless. Very simple. Very simple. Basic question of autocorrelation. As soon as I see Durbin-Watson test statistic, this DW, I know this is a question from your autocorrelation, because Durbin-Watson is a test which we use in detection of autocorrelation. As this is very less than 2, so this indicates positive autocorrelation, which is represented here. But please pay attention that the यहाँ पे what is this? These are the standard errors. So if you calculate t-test statistic, this has to be significant as well. But on the other side, R square is high. R square high matlab that these t-test statistics should be highly significant, but they will turn out to be insignificant, which will clearly show us the presence of autocorrelation. Also, there is another problem is, since I have a lagged variable, I also cannot use Durbin-Watson. That's another flaw here. So there are so many misleading conclusions in this model. So you just have to talk about the assumptions as well as the results of Durbin-Watson. Nayan, you will get the PYQ solutions, complete solutions shortly. Be in touch with our team. And so this is for everyone. We do provide our students with complete detailed solutions for the past year papers. So if you are interested in getting them, please get in touch with our team at the number which can be seen in your chat box, but I'm just repeating it for your help. 7880107880. This is the number. You can get in touch with our team to know how you can get the complete detailed solution for our papers. IES papers, not this year, even the past year paper. ठीक है, चलो. Now on to the next question. That is 5th question, C part. That is about univariate regression analysis is more meaningful with time series data than with cross-section data. So it is very obvious that when they are asking you, when they're making a statement that yes, it is more meaningful with time series than with cross section, you clearly have to support this. They're not asking you to criticize, they're asking you to discuss. That means you have to work in favor. And any which way, you know that for univariate regression, when it comes to time series is more useful for a univariate, because through time series we can try to analyze trend, we can check the forecast value, we can check for seasonal variations for one particular variable, whereas in cross section it gives us relationship at a point of time. So when I'm studying about one variable, I'm not interested just in a point of value, I'm interested over period values. So this is how you need to quote it down. Then question number 6, part A. Multiple is by econometrics was quite good in this paper, and econometrics आया भी काफी था, but too direct. Multiple linear regression model can consider the ceteris paribus effect, while simple linear regression model fails to do it. Explain the validity. I mean, who does not know this? In a simple linear regression model, you just have one variable. So your ceteris paribus basically means that you're keeping You're changing one thing and keeping other things constant. That is the essence of multiple regression, not univariate regression. I mean, come on, this is such an easy question. So you can talk about the multiple independent variables in multiple regression. You can talk about the role of partial regression coefficients and then give an example also of a model where in one which you are taking univariate as well as a multivariate. Coming on to part B. Again, part B is very simple. Again, from multiple regression, they have given you the model, which is yt is equivalent to beta naught. This is your model. बीटा अब किया क्या, बीटा वन हैट और बीटा टू हैट को बड़े हॉरर तरीके से लिख दिया, वेरी हॉरर वे. मतलब they did not give you the values, they gave you notations and you had to fill the notations, and then they asked you how will you interpret them. And this was for 6 marks, I believe. So what was the marks of this? 4, 6, 10, 5, right? So how will you interpret? Interpretation is of one line. How will you interpret that now? Very simple. First, you decode the value. They have given you in this form S1y, S22 minus S2y, S12. First, you decode these values and write them in a way that how we use in econometrics. Then after coming that, you can interpret them very easily by saying that these are the partial regression coefficients. What do they convey to you? That's how you can come with. Question number 6, part C. Write down the desirable properties of a good index of quality. So they're asking you that when you're measuring your inequality, what is the good index? What are the desirable property? And does a Gini index satisfy all of them? So there are 4 main properties which we use while choosing our inequality index. And we need to just show that whether your Gini satisfies all of them, or if not, which all are not satisfied. So you have to be descriptive here. Now coming on to your question number 7 over here. 7 question was again a very direct question. You had to state Euler's theorem. Use this theorem to explain product exhaustion problem. Again, a very simple from theory of distribution. Very simple formulation. So this should not have been very problematic for you. Then in 7th question, part B, how factor prices are determined under bilateral monopoly. So you have to talk about bilateral monopoly and you have to talk about the price determination. Question number 8 was a market failure question. You had to use a real world example. So a chance of creativity is provided here where you can be creative with your examples. Then 8th question, part B. Um, your first part here. Write down the behavioral assumptions on Walrasian and Marshall stability analysis. These all are conceptual based. Then derive the conditions. Then you have to show that these two conditions cannot be fulfilled together when the demand and supply of both have negative slope. Now, as you all know, section B may say you just have to select your 5 questions. You are provided with your 7 questions and you have to work with your 5 questions only. So it's your choice. When you work with section B, you need to be very careful which all questions you are choosing. Question choose करने से पहले you should be very confident with the concept. So that is how you should be working ahead. You attended every question. You have to answer any 5 out of 7. Every question is of 18 marks. So 90 marks का होता है total section B. Section B is the highest section consisting in terms of marks. Now let's continue with our section C. Abhi tak, tell me very honestly, has the paper been very difficult to you? When I'm discussing here, when I'm telling you what to write, what not to write, are you feeling that this is very difficult? Lag raha hai difficult? Tell me. Okay. Become active students. Now, coming on to section C. Then what should I take your yes for? मुश्किल लग रहा है या easy लग रहा है? Economics. Okay. You felt it? All right. Now section C. Section C may again from the 5 questions you have to 3. You have to attempt any 3. Each question is of 25 marks. Each question is of 25 marks. So total of 75 marks you have to. Maximum marks of section C is 75 marks. Okay. So question number 9, part A. Both the marginal utility approach and the indifference curve approach yield the same equilibrium position for a rational consumer, which means you have to depict both of the marginal utility approach as well as indifference curve approach and show how an equilibrium is reached. Discuss the relative advantages of the indifference curve approach over the marginal utility approach. Very clear question. No if and but, no confusion here. Very, very direct question. You have to talk about marginal utility approach. You have to talk about indifference curve approach. How do you get equilibrium? That's something we start learning from class 11. And we do it till masters. Then how one is better than the other, that is what you have to show here. Show that now on to next part B. Show that demand has unitary price elastic if the price consumption curve is horizontal. So this is a vice versa question. Such type of questions have to be done vice versa. You have to show that if your PCC is horizontal, it is horizontal, then your demand is going to have a unitary price elasticity. That's what you have to show. Okay. So for that, again, what you will be doing over here? What you will be doing over here? Has anyone attempted this question? Has anyone attempted this question? PCC wala question attempt kiya tha? Easy tha. What? How did you feel? Anyone in the chat box? Okay. So when your basically you have to start with what your PCC shows you. As we all know that PCC shows us optimal consumption of the two commodities that a consumer is going to buy at different prices while holding your chat box. No. Okay. So while holding the income and the price of other good constant, that is what a PCC means. Okay. So when your PCC is horizontal, what does it represent? It represents that the quantity demanded does not change when the price is changing. So it clearly means that your price elasticity will be equal to 1. Now you can take use of diagram over here and then you can show it through the mathematical equation. Okay. So that's how you need to attempt this. Now, the next one was a numerical where you had to talk about how the equilibrium will be changing when the prices are going to change with the same level of income. Also, one thing, see, in the live, I won't be able to solve each and every question in detail. So you can get in touch with us and we will be helping you out with the doubts you have or with the techniques you need to use. And we any which way provide complete solutions to that. So you can get in touch with us. But also, if you need paper, the PYQ paper, the 2024 paper, please contact us. We will be happy to help you. Okay, we will provide you with the paper. So it is a consumer. Question number 9, part C. There is a consumer in a two commodity world, X and Y, and has a linear indifference curve. with a slope equal to -1/2. Find out the equilibrium consumption when prices for both commodities equal to 2. The price of X as well as the price of Y is 2. And the income of the consumer is 2000. So you have to find the equilibrium quantities. Now, if the price of X becomes 1 and price of Y becomes 4, when income is 2000, what will be the change in equilibrium quantity? It's again a very simple numerical to do, right? Right? The price effect, the substitution effect, and everything. So it's very easy. Direct questions. Now, coming to more quantitative economics question, 10th, 11th, both were completely econometrics and mathematical economics. So we will be now discussing these questions. 10th, question number A. So they have given you, suppose that the sample observations on price, which you are taking with X, and supply of goods, supply of commodity, which is Y, reveal that Y is increasing faster than X. So the rate of growth of Y is greater than rate of growth of X, implying there is a non-linear relationship between X and Y. How do you specify a linear regression model to estimate this supply function? Two hints they have provided till now. Non-linear interpretation of regression coefficient. What are the major components involved in random error of this regression model? ये generic question है that what are the components involved in random error? It's simple that what all elements can be a part of your random error term. Now, here the increase in Y is exponential and greater than the increase in X, which means that I need to take log with Y. So there can be two types of linear relationship that I can use. The one is where your dependent variable, that is Y, comes in log form, but X comes in linear form, and the vice versa double log model. If you choose any one of them, you have to be very clear why you are choosing, because both are going to be based on set of assumptions. The first one that might be coming to everyone's mind is this one, because here the linear relationship is maintained, and Y log function is always a monotonically increasing function. So that is why the rate of change of Y will always be greater than rate of change of X. Okay, that is why. So here beta 2, when you multiply it with 100, it tells you the percentage change in Y due to 1 unit change in X, which is the semi-elasticity. So it do have an economic interpretation as well. And then you have to talk about the random error. If you have omitted some variable, if there is some correlation, all those things enter your random error. So again, a very simple question. 10th question B part. You have been provided with a model that looks like Y is equivalent to beta naught plus beta 1x plus mu I. Okay, like this. So variance of, you have to prove. Okay. They are telling you basically that variance of regression coefficient beta 1 hat is inversely proportional with variance of X. What are the implication of this result? Now we clearly know that variance of beta 1 hat is sigma square upon summation xi square, whereas variance of X is equal to summation small xi square upon n. So I can clearly see that they are inversely proportional. What are the implications? The implication is simply in terms of the relationship that is depicted by beta 1 hat. If your X is going to be scattered, how is it going to affect the relationship? Okay, so you just have to talk about it. Uske baad, it is being said that if X bar is 0, then you have to show covariance of beta naught hat, beta 1 hat is 0. So how do you show it? Now, if you figure out Y bar is equal to beta naught hat. So you can find covariance of Y bar and beta 1 hat. Beta 1 hat is independent of Y bar. It do consist yi terms, but it does not consist Y bar. Hence, this will be 0. You have to prove it, not just in words. You have to prove it also. So because of this, the covariance, the above covariance also becomes 0. Bada easy tha. Then, question number 11, part A. So they are asking you that you have taken readings of temperature, but when you find out their arithmetic mean, it does not matter whether they are in centigrade or Fahrenheit scale, but when you work with geometric mean, the scale of unit do measure. It's very simple to say arithmetic mean may why it is not mattering, because when you convert the centigrade to Fahrenheit, that is a linear conversion, and arithmetic mean can be calculated for linear conversion as well. So if I know the expected value of x, I can calculate the expected value of a plus bx as well. So if I'm calculating the expected value of temperature measured in in centigrade, I can measure it for Fahrenheit also, because it's just a linear conversion. But in case of geometric mean, we are not doing that. That does not support the linear transformation, and hence the geometric mean will come different when it is measured in centigrade and when it is measured in Fahrenheit. That's the reason. It was a 10-mark question, so you have to prove the things also out, not just in words. The second part B was very easy. That's something when I teach coefficient of determination, that's the first homework I give to my students. All of the students who are present here must remember I gave them this homework, that you need to prove coefficient of determination being equal to the square of coefficient of correlation in a univariate regression. It's the same thing that they're asking. It's the same thing that they are asking you. Nayan, you can contact us. We will help you with this. Okay. Now, question number 11, part C. That is a two-sector economy is given, where you have been provided with the units of dependency and you have to calculate the Leontief inverse. That is I minus A inverse. And they have used the word open Leontief. Open Leontief देख के confused मत होना, because in closed model we cannot figure out the exact answer. Unique solution नहीं होता. Interpret the coefficients of this matrix. You have to interpret Aij, Xij, and Yi, all of these things. Xi, सबको interpret करना है. If the final consumption changes to 150 from 50 and 80 now, what would be the new production level? So it's again easy. You just have to multiply with the I minus A inverse and you will get your answers. So very easy question, very direct question from input-output model. Then coming to second last question of this paper, that is question number 12, part A. Show the conditions that ensure efficient distribution of a given combination of products between two consumers. Would the same conditions ensure maximum equity? So here you have to talk about the equity. That if you are ensuring an efficient distribution, you can proceed in this answer with the help of an example or with the help of a hypothetical creation you can bring in here. That if you are doing efficient distribution, is it going to give you maximum equity? So welfare economics ka question tha ye from G1, but it is something which is doable because this is the basic model of welfare, jahan pe you have to show between these things. Compare the social theories of Ronald Coase and Amartya Sen. You know both the theories, you just have to compare them on the basis of same grounds. Now coming on to question number 13, part A. Explain the following pricing rules of public sector enterprises. So basically you have to tell that how do public sector enterprises use a pricing strategy, pricing rule for the following. Pricing of public utility services, how do they select a price? So you have to talk in terms of externalities and everything. Marginal cost pricing rule, no profit, no loss policy, and profit price policy. So you have to include the price strategy set up by the public sector enterprises. These all four are the pricing rules, basically, the pricing strategies. So you have to just explain them, that what is the pricing of public utility services? What is the profit price policy? Part B, Show that long run average cost curve is an envelope of the short run average cost curves. What will be the shape of long run average cost curve under increasing returns to scale? Explain your answer. So we talk about how the short run curves taken together gives you the long run curve. So we all have been acquainted with diagrams like this. Since the beginning of our masters, short run average cost curve 1, short run average cost curve 2, like this, so that you get the so that you get the long run average cost curve like this. Okay, that's what you have to talk about. But there is a word here that you have to do it. What will be the shape of long run average cost curve under increasing returns to scale? So, increasing returns to scale के अंदर what will be the shape of your long run average cost? That is what you have to talk. And what we know is that under increasing returns to scale, the long run average cost will be falling. It will slope downward. Okay, in this economies of scale we achieve here, and here we achieve the diseconomies of scale, and here we have constant returns to scale when your long run average cost is flat. So the slope of long run average cost tells us that. So this was the entire paper of GE1. After this analysis, you have done the analysis with Ecoholics here. So you must be wondering now that paper to bada aasan tha. Yes, all of those who think paper was very easy, give me a thumbs up or something like that in chat box. I'm waiting for your replies. Who all feel that paper was very easy? G1 was very easy. We do have G2, G3, and Indian economy paper discussions. So please stick yourself to the notifications shared by YouTube channel. You can subscribe and notify yourself for that notifications. And do not miss those paper discussions where you will get to interact with the experts of the industry. Where are the students in chat box? So now we are open to taking your queries. Please drop the queries here. Just a message in the chat box saying I don't know anything. So please get in touch with the team. They will help you to know many things. You can contact us. Acha, for all my dear students, I'm dropping a number. If you have any query, we help you unlimited number of time with your queries. The number is 7880 So you can contact us. Our team, our experts will help you with all the unlimited queries you have. Whether it's related to past year papers, whether it is related to any subject or any field of economics, we will be happy to help you. Anyone over here who attempted the paper, do you want to share any piece of story here? Anything you felt, how your paper went, anything? Anyone? If not, we will wrap up the session then. As I told you in the beginning, I want to make it interactive. Okay, I think everyone is okay with this. At least one thing, if you are ready to reply, what is making you feel so lazy when serious things are happening over here? So I hope this paper discussion has helped you to gather insights about the IES paper level. All my students who have attempted this year, I hope this has helped you to gather uh, the courage that whatever you have written, that is in the right direction. And don't worry, don't feel anxious. We, after giving the paper, we might feel anxious that we have not written correctly, but just leave it on the universe. You have done your part now, so you are going to get the reward. Okay, so we have a review. G1 was easy, but I couldn't manage to attend all the questions. Right, Manisha. So this is a problem faced by many of the students. The key problem why even after paper is easy, you are still not able to attempt all the questions is too much decision time while writing things. Second, lack of answer writing practice. Third is confusion while attempting optional questions, that should I be doing this or that, zyada acha question kaun sa hai, which will fetch me more marks. So these are many possible reasons why this does not happen. The biggest reason is lack of answer writing. Answer writing बहुत जरूरी है. All the students who write mock test with us, we always in our sessions we always teach them that how can you practice yourself to speed up your answer writing skills. So in case, Manisha, you're interested to let us help you, please contact us. See, average score can't be predicted here right now because the first thing is when we talk about IES, we talk about average cutoff rather than the score here. But seeing this paper, if I talk about the toppers, whosoever is going to top this exam, they must be sometimes, many times, what happens is they are able to score well in other parts and not here. But aiming for 50-60% is not very difficult since the paper is easy. 50% is something you should be able to get. So somewhere around 90 to 100 or even more than 100 is something that can be expected this year, because paper has actually come very easy. That was basically testing your knowledge of concepts. अब जिसने तैयारी की होगी conceptually, they must have been able to score well. Right, Venkata? Have I left any queries? So there is one student asking, Ma'am, will you teach us? Yes. I teach quantitative economics, mainly G1 paper. So econometrics is my specialized subject. So I teach all the IES aspirants at Ecoholics the subject of econometrics, mathematical economics, statistics. So, okay, Manisha. Okay. You're already a student of Ecoholics. Okay, no worries. We can connect and discuss about these skills, how you can improve. All right, I think all the queries have been taken care of. So now I will take your leave. All the best for your results and keep watching our paper discussion series for interacting with our experts. And I will see you soon then. Have a great day ahead, a good evening. And all right. Bye everyone. To all the aspirants who are preparing for 25 attempt, you can get in touch with our team if you have any queries related to this paper. All right. Bye everyone. Thank you for joining.